Imagine someone sitting alone in a quiet room for hours. No phone, no music, no distractions, just thinking. Most people would call that weird. But what if that's actually what a genius looks like? Psychology has a fascinating answer. People with extremely high IQs don't operate on the same frequency as the rest of us, and that difference shows up in ways most people never notice. In this video, we're going to break down 11 specific habits backed by peer-reviewed research that appear almost exclusively in people with extraordinarily high intelligence. And here's what makes this really interesting. You might recognize some of these in yourself, and if you do, that tells you something important. Habit number one, they actively choose solitude. And this surprises a lot of people. Highly intelligent individuals genuinely prefer being alone, not because they're antisocial, not because they're depressed, they simply choose it. Research from Cambridge University found that high IQ individuals treat solitude as a deliberate recharge mechanism. It's not withdrawal, it's strategy. Look at the greatest minds in history: Newton, Einstein, Tesla. Every single one of them described their alone time as the source of their most important breakthroughs. It's not about having fewer friends, it's about choosing depth over quantity. High IQ people invest deeply in a small number of relationships rather than spreading themselves thin across dozens of shallow ones. Habit number two, they question everything. What most people simply accept as fact, a high IQ person stops at and asks, why? How do we actually know that? This isn't cynicism or stubbornness, it's their cognitive default. Their brain is literally wired to challenge assumptions before accepting them. Studies confirm that highly intelligent people are significantly less likely to be influenced by emotional manipulation or appeals to authority. They need actual logic and evidence every time. Habit number three, they're night owls. And no, this isn't just insomnia or bad sleep hygiene. Research suggests it's actually tied to how their brain is wired. Multiple studies show that people with higher intelligence are significantly more likely to identify as night owls because nighttime gives them a rare mental quiet that the daytime never offers. When the world goes to sleep, their mind finally gets the space it needs. That's when their best thinking happens. Habit number four, they overthink, but differently. There's a critical distinction here. This isn't the anxious, circular overthinking that keeps people up at night with worry. This is deep, deliberate cognitive processing. Professor Eric Schumacher at Georgia Tech found that brains with higher efficiency have so much processing capacity that they literally cannot fully switch off, even during rest. This is why they seem to zone out, but in reality, their brain is quietly solving problems in the background the entire time. What looks like distraction is actually computation. Habit number five, their spaces are messy. And this one might actually bring you some relief. People with very high IQs tend to have messy, disorganized spaces. Researchers at the University of Minnesota's Carlson School of Management found a direct link between disorder and creativity. A messy environment actually stimulates more creative and unconventional thinking. So, if your room looks like a hurricane hit it and people keep telling you to clean up, maybe your brain is just busy doing more important things. Habit number six, they see patterns others miss. This is one of the most defining cognitive traits of extremely high intelligence. They see patterns where everyone else sees noise. Research confirms that people with higher cognitive ability detect recurring behavioral patterns and predict outcomes significantly earlier and more accurately than average. This is why they seem to just know things before they happen. It's not intuition in the mystical sense, it's pattern sensitivity operating at a level most people can't consciously access. Habit number 7. They are genuinely humble. And I want to be very clear. This is not performed humility. This is not false modesty. It's real, and it runs deep. Psychologist David Dunning, co-discoverer of the famous Dunning-Kruger effect, explains that truly intelligent people are acutely aware of how much they don't know. The more they learn, the more they realize how vast the unknown is. Knowledge, paradoxically, breeds humility. The smartest person in the room is rarely the loudest one in it. Habit number 8. They speak slowly and deliberately. While most people race to fill silence, high IQ individuals pause, process, and then respond. That pause is not hesitation, it's precision. Research shows that highly intelligent people internally verbalize their thoughts before speaking. What looks like hesitation is actually mental editing happening in real time. This is why when they do speak, it lands differently. Every word has been selected. There's no filler, no noise, just meaning. Habit number 9. They have deep self-awareness. They know themselves with unusual clarity, their weaknesses, their cognitive biases, their emotional blind spots. They've mapped it all. A group of psychologists in Australia confirmed a direct correlation between self-awareness and high cognitive intelligence. The smarter someone is, the clearer they tend to see themselves. Psychologists call this metacognition, the ability to think about your own thinking. It's essentially having a mind that can observe itself in real time, and it changes everything about how they make decisions. Habit number 10. Their curiosity has no off switch. They can't turn it off. Once they find something interesting, they don't skim, they go deep, then deeper. Then they find a related question and start all over again. Neuroscience research shows that in high IQ individuals, the brain's reward sensors are activated by new information. Learning literally gives them a dopamine hit. This is why you'll find a cardiologist obsessing over ancient Roman military strategy at midnight, or an architect who's also a self-taught linguist. The curiosity doesn't respect professional boundaries. It never stops. Their brain treats every new truth as a reward, and unlike most rewards, it never gets old. Habit number 11. They wrestle with existential questions. And this is perhaps the most profound and the most misunderstood habit of all. People with extremely high IQs are frequently haunted by existential questions. Why are we here? What is consciousness? Does any of this actually mean anything? These aren't passing thoughts for them. They're recurring, unavoidable obsessions that visit them in quiet moments. Research confirms a direct correlation between high IQ and existential anxiety, because when your mind is capable of following a thought to its deepest logical conclusion, you end up in places most people never go. But this same quality is what produces philosophers, scientists, and visionaries. The questions that keep them up at night are the very questions that move humanity forward. So those are the 11 habits, backed by psychology, backed by neuroscience, and showing up consistently in people whose minds operate at an extraordinary level. But here's the thing I want to leave you with. IQ is not a fixed destiny. It's a direction of thinking, and every single one of these habits, they can be developed. Curiosity can be cultivated. Self-awareness can be trained. Critical thinking can be practiced. The gap between where you are and where you want your mind to be, it's closable. And if you recognize yourself in several of these habits, maybe you already knew you were a little different. Now, you know why. If this video made you think, drop a comment below. Which of these 11 habits do you relate to the most? I read every single one. And if you want more content like this, subscribe. The next one is going to be just as deep.